Well, good afternoon, and welcome to today's professional development session on starting the online faculty certification program. This, of course, is the training program that faculty are strongly encouraged, and in some cases, depending on your academic administration, required to complete before teaching fully or partially online classes where there's reduced seat time in a classroom, up to no seat time in a classroom, in a certain part of the course is delivered online. It's not required for people who are just using Canvas as a supplement to enhance your face-to-face courses, though it's certainly of use, and you're encouraged to take it in any case. You're welcome to. And we're going to start off by showing you how to get in there if you're not already enrolled in the course, and then run through the process of completing the course. All righty. For those of you I may not have met before, I'm Dave Giberson. I'm an old instructional design coordinator from the Online Learning Pathways Department at the district. Been retired for a few years, and this is my pro rata, hanging on because it's fun to deliver these professional development sessions. I used to be the senior instructional design coordinator at Online Learning Pathways. Now I'm just a senior citizen living in Northern Idaho. Okay. So, assuming you have to, or you've decided to take the online faculty certification program, how do you get enrolled? That's a very simple process. It involves going to our Online Learning Pathways website and signing up. There's a web form that you can access. You just fill out the information, and within a few hours, one of our marvelous full-time folks, part-time student himself, Peter T., will enroll you in the course and send you a welcome message in email and with the information that you need to get started. What we're going to do today is give you a little heads up, or a little head start on the information that you need to get started, just to make this a little bit more visual. You can access our Online Learning Pathways website from a variety of places. It can be accessed from the district homepage, but it's a little hard to find. It is definitely hidden on the college and continuing ed websites. The easiest way to get there, to the Online Learning Pathways website, is to just go to a web browser, click into the address line at the top of the browser, and type in sdccd.edu/online and press enter. And that will take you to this god-awful URL here, the homepage for Online Learning Pathways. There are some quick links on the homepage, and one of those involves the Online Faculty Certification Program. You can just click on the graphic there. It takes you to the OFCP, as we refer to it, page. And if you scroll down, you'll get some information about this. This program may take up to 20 hours to complete. Yeah, there have been people who have done it in 20 hours or less. Mostly this is accurate information. But what you will be looking for if you are trying to enroll in the program is this link right here, the Online Faculty Certification Program Enrollment Form. And if you click on, that's a link. If you click on it, you get this Google form. And you just go through and fill in the information. Very brief process, and then submit it. And Peter will be back in touch with you very shortly with the information on how to get started and the access necessary to do so. So that's a good 3 minutes of effort. So how do you get in? Once you have enrolled, how do you access the online faculty certification program training and begin? Well, you're going to have two new Canvas shells showing up on your Canvas dashboard. One is the training course shell that will have a show as a tile that looks like this. Be sure if you've started this course before and not gone all the way through it, which is fine. Make sure you're in the current one, the 2022-2023 cohort. We refresh the course at the beginning of July each year and start with a new cohort of people. And I'm presuming that most of you are probably in that cohort at this point or considering enrolling. You'll also receive a practice shell, which will be named something like D shell, and then your first initial and your complete last name. This is a blank Canvas shell that you will use during the process of working through the training materials in the training course. All of the information, the assignments, the resources that you need to complete this training course are in this shell. This one is completely blank to start. The critical difference between the two being that in the training course shell, you are enrolled as a student. You will be taking this course as an online student. And this is one of the primary rationales for the requirement or the encouragement to take this course. The very best way, the first thing, or the best way to start learning how to teach online is to be an online student. It gives you a perspective that you might not have otherwise if you just start teaching online. It also gives you empathy for your students and the hurdles they have to surmount and the challenges that they will encounter. So, and the good things about online education, which far outweigh any, in our opinion anyway, far outweigh any minor difficulties that one might run into. So it's an excellent thing to do for anyone who's preparing to teach online, is to take an online course themselves. And this is your chance. Also, this is our opportunity to model good course design and management, online course design and management. And there are, while a good online course and a good face-to-face course share a lot of characteristics, the online environment is definitely different. Especially in this training course, we're focusing on the asynchronous part of an online course, and in some online courses will be totally asynchronous, where you post information and assignments on your schedule, and the students then access the resources and the assignments in your course on their own time within limits. You get to set due dates and milestones within the course that students have to meet, but by and large, students can perform the work whenever they wish in an online course. They don't have to be online the same time as you are. So this training course is focused on the asynchronous portion of online education. We're not going to be talking too much about synchronous tools like Zoom and things like that in this course. We're going to be focusing on Canvas, our learning management system. So all of that material will be in the training course. But occasionally during the training course, we're going to be asking you to perform certain tasks, do certain things that require you to be the teacher, the instructor in a Canvas shell or container, a Canvas course. And that's what the D shell, the practice shell, is for. In that shell, you are the teacher, the instructor, and you'll be able to create content and perform a variety of tasks in the shell that you couldn't perform as a student. And then when you perform those tasks, you're then going to give the instructors in the training course access to that part of the practice shell so they can grade your work. And indeed, yes, this is a real course. There will be grading. There will be lots of feedback from the instructors. And you do have to meet a certain minimum standard. We'll talk about that in a moment. So you should see these two new tiles. They may be this tile may be of a different color. The pink is just picked at random by my dashboard, but you will see these two new tiles on your Canvas dashboard, which of course is the page you're dropped onto when you first log into Canvas. And when you click on the tile for the training course, this is the first page you'll see, the welcome page. So let's take a short look at that and see what's here and what you'll need to do. Let me go ahead and pull up Canvas. There's my dashboard. I do have that shell here. So to access the training course shell to get started, you just click on that tile. And here's the welcome page. Get a little announcement here. Welcome from Peter, who is the primary manager of this course. And this opening page is very, very Spartan, very basic by design. It's the Google theory of web page design. Put the information that's absolutely needed there and nothing else, and no frou-frou or anything like that. We don't have a doodle at the top. The only thing we have is this graphic. That'd be an idea. We could put an OFCP doodle up there like they do on the Google homepage. Maybe not. Okay, so you're just asked to do 4 things here to get started. They're as basic and as quick as possible. You're asked to read the announcements. Well, the last 3 announcements anyway will be at the top of the homepage anyway. Here we're just a basic welcome. There's also a welcome letter. If you click on that link, you'll get to here. And some background information about what's going to happen, about Canvas, about the deadline. You do really any deadlines for you are set by your instructional administration, except for one exception, not by us. Indeed, we're not the ones requiring you to take this course. That would be your instructional administrators, your deans, your department heads. Perhaps the president of your college has set the policy, whatever. But Online Learning Pathways is just here to serve and to make it possible for you to do this. This is something that faculty preparation for teaching online is an accreditation requirement. So this is definitely something that needs to be done. Once you read the welcome letter, there's a syllabus, which we're going to kind of go through here in general terms. There's some learning outcomes, your instructors, a communication policy, along with email addresses for everybody who does the grading and active instruction in this course. So you always know how to access people. The course, basic course organization. We'll look at that again here in a moment. And the things that you're going to be doing in there, just a general description of how the course works. So you'll want to go through that with some care. And finally, an option to begin the first module in the course. And this is where the meat of the course is, of course, in any Canvas course, so the modules that contain the information that you need to learn the concepts that are presented in the course and to demonstrate that you've mastered them. This course consists of 7 modules, starting with an orientation, which is sort of what we're doing right now, but this is in much more detail. You have a lot more time here. Distance education guidelines, the legal and regulatory environment within which we operate in the state of California vis-a-vis online education. Pretty important here to know what we're expected to do, what we can expect of our students, and how to keep from running afoul of the powers that be. Then module 3 is about humanizing your online course. Online courses can seem to students like a robot is running them. That it's an automated process that has no human involvement on the other end. And that's not a recipe for success. Humanizing your online course involves putting your own self into that course, making your personality, your caring for your students an apparent part of the course from the get-go. And there are lots of good, this is something we've been doing for many years. We've had tried lots of things that worked well and other things that didn't and so on. This is a distillation of all that will help you make your students feel that they are in fact learning from another human being and not from a computerized robot. You will, by and large, have to design your own online courses. So module 4 introduces you to that process and to the best practices thereof. Lots of good information there about setting up your course to start with. In module 5, we get to taking on the nuts and bolts, the mechanics of using Canvas, our learning management system, wherein you can place content for your students to view, you can assess your students' understanding of that content, and communicate with your students via Canvas, and all asynchronously, so that you and they don't necessarily have to be online at the same time. So this module 5 and module 6 deal with using Canvas, whereas the first 4 modules were more about the pedagogy of online instruction. Now we get to the nitty-gritty details of operating the learning management system, of operating Canvas. And finally, there's module 7, where you look at a review of regulations, because everybody wants to stay out of trouble with the powers that be, and we want that for you. And finally, a certification statement, where it's marked as a quiz, but it's not really a quiz. It's more a series of reminders and statements on your part that you agree to adhere to certain required practices in the regulatory environment, so that we'll avoid the ugly situation of student revolts and things like that, or people coming in and telling us we're doing things we shouldn't be doing online and so on, which doesn't happen, but in large part because of our adherence to those regulations. So, and when you get to the end of module 7, you're done. When you submit that certification, actually I have, let's move on here. we'll come back to that certification statement a little bit. So what are you going to be doing as you work your way through those modules? And indeed, what you do there is just start at the top of the first module, read the overview here, and each one of these titles tells you what's happening in this part of the course. You go in, you read the first page, and we try to keep these pages bite-sized. So you're not scrolling down for half an hour. God, when am I going to get to the next item in the module? We don't throw too much information at you at one time. We all know that's counterproductive. And then when you're done with this page, you just click next. And you begin the training orientation. And you just work your way down the module. You can either go next and previous at the bottom of the page, or you can go back to the modules at any point and just proceed from there. And just work your way down through the module until you've completed the first module. At that point, the second module will appear to you. For you, I'm in this course as an administrator, as a teacher. So I see all the modules right off the bat, but you will just see the first module to begin with. And then when you finish the first module and you've done all the assigned activities, the second module will automatically pop up. If you ever have a problem seeing anything or getting to anything, of course, you have those that communication information on the first page of the course that will allow you to get in touch with us and let us know, that you're hung up or you have a question or whatever. Please don't beat your head against a wall if you run into a snag, because sooner or later you will. It's a new environment in many cases, and there will be things that aren't as clear as we hope they were. And and we expect that. We're certainly not going to be upset about it, but please don't waste inordinate amounts of time beating your head against a wall or staring at the screen until beads of blood break out on your forehead. Let us know if you're having a problem, and we'll usually in a couple of minutes, we can help you over that hurdle and allow you to proceed without wasting any of your valuable time. That's what we're here for.
Dave, if that's the case now, it's a hell of a change from the first two times I tried to take this course. I never could get a hold of anybody.
When you emailed them?
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak.
The only way we finally got it was had to get my dean involved. Call over whoever the headquarters was over there.
To the dean.
I was never able to finish the course.
All I can say to that is that you're also always welcome to email me. While I'm not actively instructing in this course anymore, I was, this course has gradually evolved over a number of years. I was here when this was created. I had some involvement with it. And certainly I've been through it a million times, and I've graded thousands of submissions in the course. So I'm pretty familiar with the course. So if you need some help and are having trouble in any way getting in touch with anyone, just email me and I will get back to you. And there's my email address in the chat tool. It should have just popped up for you. Always happy to hear from you. Okay, so you just work your way down through the modules in order. And when you get to the bottom, you're done. It's not hard to keep track of where to start, where to go next, and know when you're finished. So what are you going to be doing in those modules? Well, you're going to be working. This is a fair bit of work. You're awarded 20 hours of flex credit for this. You know, they don't hand that out lightly. That amount of, that's more than most people need in a year. It is, and the amount of time required to finish the course varies widely from individual to individual. The world's record for completing an earlier version of this course was 8 hours. That was a long service online faculty member who was just trying to make a point. It's like running the Pacific Crest Trail and with minimal sleep. It's not recommended. Average completion times range between 20 and 40 hours of work, usually somewhere in the middle of that range. You will be doing a lot of reading and a lot of viewing of video tutorials. They try to put as much video in there as possible because it's not only more palatable in some cases to absorb the information that way, but it's also generally more effective. People remember what they see and hear in a video far longer than they do what they've read. There's been a lot of research, educational research done on that. So the course does have a lot of useful video in it, and of course a lot of text as well. So you'll be reading, and on many of the pages that you read, you're going to see at the bottom a little button that allows you to mark done, telling us that you've finished with that page. In other words, I've read this, you know, and I'm moving on. That's used as a trigger to unlock other information further down in the course. So it's important that you do check those boxes that say, you know, I'm done with this particular page. You will also be asked to take quizzes. Quizzes online, both to assess your understanding of what's just been produced, and also to give you a feel for the experience that your students will have when you give them quizzes in online courses. The first module, most modules, or well, I won't say that. Several of the modules have quizzes within them. You'll see them listed as graded quizzes. You can go in, let's see, let me do this as a student. Canvas has a student view feature. If you're in a shell where you're the instructor, you can see that shell as your students do. And if I click on that quiz, you'll get some information, some instructions, and then an option, a button that allows you to take the quiz. You just click that, the quiz loads, and you'll see the questions there. You won't see this little button that says Google it. Sorry about that. That's a, no, we don't want you to Google this. We want you to already know it. It does illustrate something about taking quizzes in an online course, however. It is always possible for the students to Google the question and usually get the answer. This suggests one aspect of good online course design. You don't generally make high stakes objective tests and use them in an asynchronous online course, because students can Google it. Another thing you can do, of course, is to put a time limit on the test so that the students don't have time to Google every question to get the answer. But you do have to kind of keep in the back of your mind that that is possible. This is showing here because I have a Chrome web browser extension loaded, which is free and available to your students, which puts that link there so they don't even have to go and open up a web browser window and, and navigate to Google before pasting the question into the search box. They can just, if they know about this, they can just do it very quickly. So So you answer the questions. I'm just going to tree this here. I'm not even reading it. And by just clicking on the answer, and then you submit the quiz. Button at the bottom. That's how a quiz works in Canvas. I got one question right. That's about average for not even looking at them for any objective quiz. And you get the option to take the quiz again. Indeed, all of the assessments in this online faculty certification program training course can be completed as many times as you like. So if you take a quiz and you don't like the grade you got, you can just take it again. You can take it again right away, or you can go and study a little bit and take it again, and we'll give you the highest grade that you achieve. So this is not, when I say this course is graded, it definitely is, because we want that to be part of the process for you to see how it works, both for you and the students. But the point here is not to prevent anybody from failing the course. The only way to fail this course is not to keep trying. So that's hopefully not going to happen to anybody. So that's a quiz. Let's go back to let me get out of student view here. Leave student view button. I can go back to the modules and back to my PowerPoint slide. You're also going to participate in graded discussions, class discussions. These are asynchronous discussions carried out through the discussion tool in Canvas, which is basically a bulletin board. Somebody posts a message, everybody gets to read it, and they can reply to it. And you get a conversation going, and people don't have to be online at the same time to take part in the discussion. And they can follow what's happened before they access it and what's happened since the last time they went in. It's a marvelous tool. Actually gives probably better and richer class discussions than you can possibly carry out in a face-to-face course in a classroom, because you don't have the time. There's little or no time constraint. Also, people who are reluctant to speak up in class because they're shy or they didn't prepare that day or whatever, can participate and will participate in many cases when they wouldn't speak up in class. So graded discussions. Many of the modules have graded discussions in them. They're so indicated. You just click on the link to the graded discussion. You're given some, you're given some information on what you're expected to do in this discussion. And then there's a lot of information. But then when you get down, it can be a little hard to see the first time. When you get to this point where you see this reply button, that's where you can post. You just click reply and you get the rich content editor. You can type your replies here and then post them. So that's the mechanics of participating in a graded discussion. And you can, of course, roll through and see the posts from the people who have been there before you. This is an icebreaker discussion. You're basically asked to provide some information about yourself, your online experience, why you're taking this course. My dean made me is the most usual answer to that one. Answer the following questions, what animal are you or whatever. So just a little silly thing to get you used to using the discussion tool and to give you some insight into the folks who are taking the course with you. So it makes it more of a community. I'm just going to cancel that. I don't want to add anything to the live course here. And your participation in the discussion will be evaluated by the instructors in the course. You'll receive feedback on that. That's great, full credit, or, you know, we needed a little more in this regard, or did you think about this, or whatever. And maybe you want to go in and post again and get full credit. Again, there's no reason for anyone not to get 100% in this course, because you can keep trying until you do. And if you are having trouble with a particular assessment in the course, just get in touch with one of us and we'll show you how to do it. We'll give you the answers. We don't care how you get the knowledge, as long as you get it. This is not some kind of game. It is designed to make you comfortable teaching online and effective. And finally, the most of the time that you'll be spending is completing so-called assignments, Canvas assignments, homework assignments, whereby you're asked to do something, perhaps write something and turn it in, or go into your practice course and create something in Canvas or modify something in Canvas, and then let us know that you've done that, and we can go in and evaluate it, give you feedback, and provide a grade. There are more homework assignments than anything else in here, and they probably account for the bulk of the time that you will spend in the course. Let's just pull up an assignment here. I'm going to run ahead. Some of those first assignments are pretty simplistic. I'm going to run to module 5, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this assignment 5.6, just as an example, just to show you how this process goes. I'll click on the title of the assignment to access it. Again, I'll be given all sorts of direction on what you're expected to do. There's a video that shows you how to do this, to do what you're asked to do. Here are the actual instructions. Refer to the Navigation Made Easy PDF guide below, which is right down here. It's right below these instructions. This contains all the information right here that you need to complete this assignment. It's a step-by-step guide on how to do the assignment. So there's not a lot of cognitive load in most of these assignments. The point is that what we're trying to do is try to make sure that you know how to modify your navigation and your course menu in your Canvas shell so that it works for you and your students. You're asked to go to your practice course shell. This is one of those assignments you can't carry out in the training course. You have to do it in your practice shell, because you have to be the teacher in the shell in order to do this. And you're asked to modify your Canvas course menu. And all that detail is here in this PDF that you can view right in line with everything else. And then you're given detailed instructions on how to submit the assignment. And if you don't like the first grade you get on it, and you're given some feedback on how to improve, you can resubmit. And you can resubmit as many times as you like until you get the grade you desire. There's also a rubric here that shows you how your submission is going to be evaluated, so you know what we're looking for up front. So it's just not there's no attempt to surprise or challenge anyone here. They're just trying to make sure that the knowledge gets to you. So how do you satisfy this assignment? Well, let's see. Can I get into this one in student view? Yeah. When you click on the link to the assignment in the module, you'll be taken to this page. Here's all that information that you were given before. And you have a button that says Start Assignment. You won't click this until you have carried out these instructions here. So the first thing you're going to do after you access these instructions is you're going to follow them. And in this case of this assignment, you're going to pull up your Canvas practice course, your OFCP practice course. You go back to your dashboard here. Oops, and I have to leave student view to do that. You go back to the dashboard and you'll find your practice shell. First time you go into that practice shell, it's going to just be a blank Canvas course. This is what a blank Canvas shell looks like. This is what your shells will look like when you get them for your courses. And then you have to configure them and load them with content and assessments and so on, according to your own desires. But in this case, you're asked to configure this course menu so that students only see the items in this course menu that they're going to need. There's a lot of stuff that they're not going to need. So you're asked to fix this so that they don't see a lot of distracting and extraneous information over here in their course menu. And the instructions for this assignment contain all the information you need to know how to do that. Very briefly, we just go to the settings page at the bottom of the course menu. We go to the navigation tab at the top of the page. Of course, you're the only one who has access to this in your course. The students can't access that. And here's a vision of your course menu. And there's a lot of stuff here that the students don't need, particularly, and some that you can decide to give them or not. Like there's usually no need for them to have the Pages tool. If you want to hide something in your course menu from your students, you just click on the item in the upper part of this menu representation here and drag it down below this line. That's all it takes to hide it from students. Usually your students will access their quizzes through the modules, not through the quizzes tool. So you'll probably get rid of that too. You certainly want to keep modules there, but not rubrics. Not Unicheck. We're about to get rid of Unicheck. Don't need the studio link. They don't need the analytics link. They don't need the attendance or Google Drive or collaboration. We do want to leave them the modules. Outcomes, we don't use the outcomes tool in Canvas, so you get rid of that. Usually you don't want them to have access to your files that you've posted in the course, at least not that way. You want them to access what you want them to access through the modules. You may or may not leave the syllabus there. You may or may not choose to leave the people tool, which is a roster, so that they can see who else is in the course with them. That's fine. That doesn't violate FERPA because they only see the people who are enrolled in the same course with them. So that's all right. Certainly, they're going to want to be able to see their grades. You want to leave that. Maybe or maybe not, you want to leave the discussions tool. You can fix it so they access the discussions through the modules rather than the tool on the side. Same with assignments. So these are the things that you, with the possible exception of the people tool, these are the things that you probably want to leave for them in the course menu. If you if you've pulled everything out of the top part of this display that you want to hide from your students, you then need to go to the bottom. You've got to remember, in Canvas, sometimes when you make changes, they take place instantly and you don't have to save or activate or execute them. And other times you do have to hit save. And you find out the hard way. First time you make a change and you spend some time working on it and you forget to save it and you have to go back and do it all over again. In this case, remember to hit save. That will save the course menu. What it does is it shows you in the course menu the things that the students can see. If there's a little I with a slash through it, then the students can't see that. If you want to verify that things are set the way you think they should be, you can go to the home link the entry point for the course, and go to student view and see what the students see. He said, student view, you. There we go. This is what the students will see. There's a little bit of a discrepancy here between what you're seeing here and the instructions. Let me mention that. They will certainly see modules and announcements as well. But you'll notice that those are listed as being invisible to students right now, even though you didn't drag those below. I didn't drag those below the line in the navigation setup tool. Canvas will not show students a course area that is empty, that doesn't have anything in it. And since this is starting out as a blank course, there are no modules and no announcements to start with. So that's why they weren't showing up in student view. But they will show up when you start building modules or putting announcements in the course. This is mentioned in the instructions for the assignment as well. So none of this is, necessarily comes as a surprise. But that's what you're asked to do in that first assignment. The process, without talking about it, is something you can do in 30 seconds. So not all these assignments, indeed, most of these assignments don't intrinsically require a long time to complete. There's not a huge amount of work in most of them, but figuring out what to do and getting there and becoming comfortable with it, of course, takes some time. And we understand that. Once you're done, in order to make it easy for your graders to access this page and look at it and verify that you've done what you were asked to do in that assignment before assigning you a grade and giving you feedback, you will, in some of these assignments, this being one of them, you'll go to the address line, the URL line in your web browser, and this is the direct link to this particular page where you've made these changes in your course. You just highlight that, click and drag over it, highlight it, and copy it to your clipboard. And you're going to be asked to provide that URL, that link, to the graders so that they can just, on one click, they can go right into your practice course. They don't have to go looking for it or try to remember where they put it or anything. They can go drop right in there, verify that you finished this, and give you a perfect grade and move on. That process works out through the submitting the assignment in the module. Let's go back to the module. Oh, I'm in the practice course, excuse me. Forget where I was, that'll happen. Let's go back to the training course. I'll go back to that, go to the modules, go back to that module 5 is where I was, and this was assignment 5.6, I think. Yep. If I do this as a student, you'll be able to see the process that you're going to see. Oh, shoot. I can't do that as a student, can I? Let's see. Well, I didn't think that out. Let me go back down here. How did I do that earlier? No, I had that working earlier. Just a second. Let's go to settings. And navigation. Put that back, that assignments tool back in there. And now I'll go back to the to student view, go to assignments. Oop, I didn't save that, did I? Oops. That's more like it. Go back to assignments, go to student view. There we go. That's a sneaky way to get in. Go to that assignment, start the assignment, and just paste that URL that you copied to your clipboard into this website URL box here.
You got a web page thing up there,
I'm sorry?
or maybe this is me.
No, that seems to be what's going through. I just pasted that URL, that web address for the home page of the practice course into this box right here. And then I just submit the assignment. You get this dramatic congratulations on having successfully submitted the assignment. That's designed to relieve students' angst over whether or not the assignment went through. It's a dramatic illustration that Canvas did get the submission, so the student is not left wondering, did I do that right? Which is, very distressing for them, particularly early in an online course. Might be for you. So that's how the assignments generally play out. If you run into trouble on any of the assignments, please don't beat your head on the wall, against the wall. Let one of us know and we'll help you through it. We'll answer any questions you have, up to and including showing you how to do it step by step, just as I did with that one. Right? So how about assessment? Well, all submissions are graded. And you'll receive, on every homework assignment, you will receive live or actual feedback, individualized feedback from the instructors in the course. You're going to find that this is very satisfying and very gratifying. It is something that online students crave above all else. Feedback, attention from their instructor. And the process is designed to show you that. When we ask students, what did you like least about your course? They'll complain about how much attention, how much feedback they got from their instructor. Even if they got tons, you can't give them enough. It's the thing they crave, as I say, above all else. So you'll receive that. I mentioned already that you can submit all of your assessments as many times as you like until you get the grade you need. Because in order to be certified, you have to have a final grade of 90% or better in the course. We hold you to a higher standard because you're going to have your students' educational fates in your hands. That's, as we all know, that's a very responsible and important thing, and we expect to be held to higher standards. But there's no reason for anyone not to get 100%, and many people do. In fact, well, it's not unknown for people to get grades of 100% in this course, because you can just keep submitting everything until you get a perfect score. And for the Freudian, among us, that can be something that they'll want to do. When you finish, when you get to module 7 in the OFCP, as I mentioned, you'll be given a chance to review the regulations of online education we operate under here in the state of California. And then there'll be this brief quiz that's not really a quiz. It's just a series of questions that you're asked to answer and statements you're given the chance to make, averring that you will adhere to certain best practices and that you understand the regulatory environment. It's about I forget, a 20 question quiz or something like that. Let's take a quick look at it. It's, let's see. Yep, you're seeing that. If we go to the modules, go to module 7. There we are, the certification statement. Preview it. And you get a bunch of information on exactly what you're expected to do here, which is always the case on any of these assessments. And then the questions start. Some of them are essay or require you to type something. Others you get to pick, you know, they're multiple answer, multiple guess type questions. In this case, you just ask for some information on what you teach, so that we just have some records of what's being taught online. And then you go next. This is a quiz in which questions are presented one question at a time, rather than in a situation where you can look at the entire test and then answer questions in whatever order you like. This is a technique. Some instructors like to do it this way. Some like to give students access to the entire test at one time. This will give you a chance to evaluate your preference for that. So you just go to the next question and so on until you've reached the end. Once you finish this, an instructor, it will pop up in the grading queue for the instructors. They'll evaluate your certification statement. If there's anything that they have a question about or some concern about, they'll get back in touch with you. They'll ask you to perhaps to submit it again. You can submit this as many times as you like as well, until everybody's happy with the result. And then at that moment, once you finish the certification statement and it's approved by the instructors, you are certified to teach online at the SDCCD. You'll get an email to that effect very quickly, and you can share that with your dean and get them off your back, and you can proceed to enjoy the benefits of teaching online. You will receive a suitable for framing certificate in the mail on paper at some point after your actual certification takes place, so that you can hang that on your I love me wall. But from the moment that you finish the course and you get that email, you are certified and you're done. This will be out of your life. Alrighty. And that's about it. That is the process of the online faculty certification program. Let me ask you now if you have any questions for me. I didn't hear a lot there, so I'll assume maybe you do have a question or two to ask. Just unmute yourself and speak up.
Dave, how often do you have to be recertified?
Right now, once you're certified, you're certified. There's no recertification requirement right now. That's been a topic of discussion for a number of years. And there may be some such requirement added at some point in the future. Excuse me. There's been discussion of maybe a very brief recertification course covering newer material and so on. But right now, as far as I know, that's not the case. If you were certified 10 years ago, you're still certified. Even though it may have been on a different learning management system in a different millennium, you're still certified. And they keep track of that. They have this huge spreadsheet that tracks everyone who's successfully completed this course, or who started it and hadn't finished it yet.
No one's going to talk. Well, this is Ardith, and I just thought I'd have a little review with you today. Did you, I must have came in late. Did you go over profile and the notifications of where you get announcements and
No, we didn't cover any information about the use of Canvas today. It was just about the course
Okay.
itself.
All right.
Though those are very good questions and things that could be of import to you.
Right.
Indeed, one of the first assignments in the course involves uploading a profile image to
Oh.
Canvas and setting up your Canvas account in certain ways. You're asked to do that. It is a good idea if you're actively involved in the course to make sure that you are informed when certain things happen in Canvas.
Right.
So that it makes communication easier and so on. And that's not covered in great detail in the course. So let me just, since you ask about that, let me address that issue.
All right.
Canvas will inform you of certain events that take place in your Canvas courses.
Right.
It's like something's been graded and you might want to go and look at the grade, or someone has posted to a discussion forum that maybe you need to look at, or new content has been added, or whatever. These can be useful things to know about. Also, it's convenient if your instructors communicate with you. Very often they will communicate with you through the Canvas messaging tool, the Canvas inbox over here in the global access menu.
Right.
And it would be nice not to have to log into Canvas to get those messages. It'd be nice to have those messages be forwarded to your work email or whatever email account you choose to use. So in conjunction with this course. So there are things that you can do to induce Canvas to notify you of things that you need to know while you're taking this course. And there are things you can do to stop Canvas from pestering the living fool out of you over things that you don't want to hear about. And that's all covered under Canvas, or that happens or is executed through Canvas notification settings, which you access from this gray bar on the left side of every Canvas screen. This gray bar is always visible, and there's an account link right at the top of the gray bar that allows you to manage your Canvas user account. If you click on that, it may or may not have a profile picture, a picture of you in there already. That's indeed, as I said, that's one of the first assignments, is to create that profile picture or to upload it. But in any case, you can click where it says account here. And there is the first option in the menu that pops up, the account menus, is notifications, your notification settings. This is what those look like. It's a table. And you probably won't have as many columns as I do here. But you'll probably have a column of course activities and a column with your email address at the top of it. The course activities are events, really, that happen in Canvas that might cause Canvas to communicate with you through this email account. And generally, this email account will be your district email, your sdccd.edu email, and Canvas will communicate with you through that email, though you can change that. The events, some of them are a little cryptic. If you mouse over them, it gives you a little more information. Like, let's say an assignment due date changes. That's something you might want to know about. On the other hand, that shouldn't happen in the middle of a term unless an instructor is maybe giving you more time for something. You don't have to worry about that in this course so much. Your deadline is June 30th of next year, or whenever your dean says you have to have it done. So whichever comes first. So, but there are a series of events, notably announcements. If the instructors post an announcement in the course, you might want to know that immediately, even if you didn't log in to Canvas that day to work on the course. It'd be nice to know that an announcement was posted. In order to determine whether an event in Canvas results in an email to you, and when and how often those emails are delivered, you go to the intersection between the email column and the event column here, the course activities column, and there'll be a little symbol there. If you click on that symbol, here are your options for being notified. You can be notified by email immediately upon the occurrence of the event, or you can ask Canvas to just hold everything to the end of the day and give you a notification and send all your announcement notifications at one time, because you don't want to, if you'd like all of those announcements grouped together at the end of the day rather than popping in separate emails throughout the day, you can do that. Or if you're really casual about it, a weekly summary, or you can just say, don't bother me with this. Don't send me an email when this occurs. I'll check the announcements when I go in and start to work on the course. Up to you entirely. The default setting on announcements is generally notify immediately. When a new announcement is posted in your training course, for instance, if the notification setting is set as you see here, you'll get an email within a few seconds of the announcement hitting in the course. And that email will not only contain a notification that an announcement has been posted, but it'll also have the textual part of the announcement, the words of the announcement. It won't contain like a media file or something like that, but it will have most announcements are just text. So you'll have the text of the announcement in the email as well. And if it's something you don't need to act on right that minute, you don't have to go and log into Canvas. But you know that something's happened. So that's very useful. That's only for instructors and administrators. Let's see. Some other ones in discussions. If a new post is made in a discussion topic that you're actively monitoring, you can have Canvas tell you that and send you the post. So you don't have to log into Canvas to read it. Conversations are Canvas messaging, the inbox tool. If you have this notification turned on and notify immediately when you get a message in Canvas, perhaps from your instructor or perhaps from a colleague, a fellow student in that course, you will get a notification that you've received a Canvas message and you'll get the text of the message. So again, this can save you a lot of time having to go and log into Canvas to read something. You can just read it in your regular email. Oh, let's see. Those are probably the ones that are most important. And you can go in and you can check these notifications for yourself.
All right.
And change to set your own preferences. This is true for your students as well. Let's say when you're trying to communicate with your students through the Canvas inbox tool and sending them messages through Canvas, you'd like them to get them in their personal email as well, so that they'd see it sooner before the next time they logged into Canvas, but you can't control that. Individual Canvas users control their own notification settings. So you can encourage your students to set like the conversation message event to notify immediately, but you can't make them do it. You can't do it for them. I can't do it for them, even as a system administrator. Well, I could in a somewhat infamous way, but it wouldn't be appropriate. So you can encourage your students to do this, and you can provide them with the information necessary to do this, but you can't make them drink.
Well, I'm being told they're getting all kinds of notifications, and it seems like every time I turn on something that they get notified.
Yeah, well, that is because of their notification settings. You can't affect that. But they can come in here if they don't want to hear about announcements. They can just set that to notifications off. Don't bother me. So they can go through and they can turn all this off. If they're getting notifications they don't want, they need to go in and modify their notification settings so that they don't get the messages they don't want.
Right.
Whether it's wise to do so or not, they can shut Canvas down, and you can do the same thing. I mean, we have a lot of people say, well, I took the certification course 2 years ago, and I'm still getting messages because it's still online.
Yeah, I was doing that.
You can go in and you can set your notifications globally from your account menu.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also set them course by course. So you can go into back into that course and shut off all the notifications from that course and prevent yourself from being badgered by Canvas about things that you no longer care about.
So if you're in the course at the times you go to your account, each one is separate for each. These settings from the account menu are global. They affect all of the courses in which you are enrolled. All right, so you can't set them separate for each class.
Yes, but you can set them separately. You can go into the course. I'm trying to remember if I'm trying to think if I remember how to do that or not. Let me see here. Oh, where is that? Shoot. If I go into the OFCP, where is that? Because they moved it not too long ago, and I'm trying to remember. Okay, if you want to know something, how to do something in Canvas, of course, you can email one of us.
You can Google it.
If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you need to know the answer right now, you can just pull up Google and type in the question you have. I'm just going to say, how do I set course level notification preferences in Canvas? Open and enable course level notification preferences in Canvas. Go to global now, create the courses link, click the name of the individual course. Let's see, in the course homepage sidebar, let's bring that up.
Oh, it is different.
Okay. In the course view, click view course notifications. There, let's go to this. That'll give us a little more detail. So we go to the course. Oh, that's right. It's on the home page. I forgot. That didn't used to be. Here it is right here. It used to be in a different place.
Yeah, that's
it's right there. So you go to this and you'll see the notification settings for this course.
Oh, okay, got it.
Any changes you make here
that's why
will only impact this course.
Okay, got it.
All right. And that's a useful illustration too of how to get information or how to get a question about Canvas answered quickly. If you if you send us a question, it's normally going to take us a little while to see the message and to get back to you. You can go to Google, and Google knows everything, and just type the question into Google, and 9 times out of 10 the answer will pop right up.
Okay.
That's what I do when I lose situational awareness, have to remember how to do something I haven't done in Canvas for a while, as just illustrated live. And it works almost all the time. So it's a great thing to know about Canvas.
Yeah, I need to check that.
There's not much that Google doesn't know. What's the it's a passage in the Old Testament, Jeremiah, I think. It starts, "Be sure your sins will find you out," because Google knows about all your sins.
Google, you mean Google's in the Old Testament?
You might be surprised what Google knows about you.
Yeah.
If you haven't ever Googled yourself, it's put your illusions and your sensitivities away in a very tightly locked box before you do so, but it can be informative. Damn, I forgot all about that. Was that me? What was I thinking at the time? Okay. Great questions. How about some more?
Dave, you said we could contact Peter if we had questions. Do you have his contact info?
Yeah, his contact information is on the homepage, or actually accessible from the homepage in the welcome letter. I take that back. Where was that? It's in the syllabus under instructor communication policy. Please feel free to contact the course instructors: Chris Rogers, Trenton Tidwell, Peter T. Okay. And I think it's in the syllabus document per se as well. Yeah, course instructors, there they are. Added the dean, Brian Weston, as well, who's a very nice guy, very approachable. And here's the communication policy. They'll respond within 3 business days. You're always welcome to email me as well. I'll do my best to, they'll do their best to reply immediately. So I'll get back as quickly as I can, though I don't spend quite as much time in my email as I did when I was a full-time employee. But, and here are the email addresses. So you can contact any of those folks. Chris is the person who took my position when I left. Trenton is someone I helped hire, another instructional design coordinator. And Peter started off working for us as a student intern. And we've shackled him to the desk and forbidden him to ever graduate and ever leave. He's actually a graduate student now, working on his master's degree. But we're doing everything we can to retain him in by any means necessary, because he's a marvelous young man, and they're all exceptionally bright people and exceptionally dedicated to helping folks. So they wouldn't be in this business, because God knows they could probably all make more money somewhere else. But they are, and I'm not telling you anything that you don't know about that, but they're very helpful. And I'll, even though I'm not in the list anymore, you're welcome to email me, and I can help with most everything. And if it's something I can't help with, I'll make sure the appropriate person gets notified and put in contact with you. I'm always happy to do that. Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
My pleasure. How about some more questions? Don't worry about the time, unless of course you need to leave, but I'm more than happy to answer them as long as you have them. And the longer you take, the longer it'll be before I have to go get on the lawnmower and mow the lawn. So I'm not motivated to cut this short today. Any questions about individual, thank you, individual assignments or anything like that? I'm always happy to help you through a particular activity in the course. Well, you can always get in touch. Let me put my email address in there in the chat tool one more time in case you came in late. There it is. Always happy to hear from you. And thanks so much for coming. And good luck in the OFCP. Let me know when I can finish. Hey, Karen, good to see you. All righty.
Good to see you too, Dave. Thanks very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Take care.